Hello, and welcome to Fresh Feeling Gaming, if indeed that is what I'm called right now. It's still Final Fantasy IV with classic jobs. I just haven't played in a month, because that happens this time of year. And I really want to finish, and so that's why I'm doing this. I've got about an hour and a half free, and this is literally going to be a 90-minute stream, and then maybe I'll come back to it later tonight. Energy permitting type situation. We're near the end of this. In fact, I think, if I had to estimate how much time was left in this, I think it would be 3 hours. So I don't know if that means I need an hour and a half and then another hour and a half or whatever, but I said we'd do Bahamut's Cave. Now this is interesting because we have very little to gain here. We get the Genji armor, which is like, okay. It's not better than a diamond ring for Thief, but it might be better than what he has. Even then, like, I'm not entirely sure. Like, the lightning resistance is useful. Oh, whatever. Not entirely sure it's better, as I was saying. Not entirely sure it's worth it. We get nothing from Bahamut himself, but we do gain experience. Imagine that, working for experience. How lame. Wow, tornado. Oh, what a terrible time to have an unanswered prayer. I don't remember these guys using Tornado, but I guess they do. Wow. I mean, the damage from Tornado is pretty awful, but the physical attack was pretty bad. Genji Shield is in no way better than Aegis Shield the way I remember it. Although I wonder if I made it so that Thief could equip that. That would be interesting. I think literally the only shield Thief can use might be Pro Shield. But I don't remember. It's been long enough since I did the analysis, and then long enough again since I played this. Oh, that's a shame. Okay. You know what? We're going to be further ahead to have someone else use the Phoenix down. This is going to be an awful fight. That giant's going to explode on us. I'm very likely to end up having a kid walk in soon asking if they can play games too. And yeah, that's pretty well expected, and it's fine. I'm gonna tell them fine. Oh, that was weaker than I remembered. What does this do? It's a pretty good spell in this game. Thief's attack is going to start... Thief's attack is already abysmal. Okay, that was interesting. I thought that Selene, or whatever they're called, I thought they had some kind of terrible counterattack to magic. Maybe it's just that they're magic resistant. Certainly Quake was pretty darn strong against that, that Dark Sage. What were Dark Sages called in the original release, in the Final Fantasy II US one? It wasn't Dark Sage. I don't think it was Dark Sage. Was it Dark Sage? I really don't know. This last month has been bananas. I couldn't find time to play this game, and when I could, I would have been too tired. I keep falling asleep on the couch. Like an old person. I associate that with old people because my parents always fell asleep on the couch when I was growing up. I don't think my parents are going to end up watching my stream videos at any point. If they do, like, sorry, but... sorry what? That I called you old? You're my parents. I think I can get away with that. I thought that those guys exploded after a set number of turns, and I never believed I was going to beat them there. Oh well. Okay, I think what we're learning here is I'm well prepared for the Lunar Depths, because these enemies are pretty persistent to almost the bottom. And they're not giving me much in the way of challenge at the moment. I thought they were. And I mean, Tornado sucks. Tornado always sucks, but... well, it'll get worse. The dragons will be a little bit hard, at least at first. I'm a little under the weather. I've been sick. I've had at least 2 different illnesses in the last 4 weeks, as well as the busy season of my work ramping up. I don't suppose Drain works well here, huh? And I think when last I was streaming this, I was talking about how for the first time I was going to be singing in front of a large group of people. The most people I've sung in front of prior to recently was about 50 in a room. And I ended up having a performance with a band. And I don't know actually if the band is still a band or not, or if I was kicked out of the band. No one's really been talking. But yeah, that was an interesting experience, singing with a band. It went fairly well. I worry that I could have sung better, but everyone seemed to be saying that I was doing okay. I guess when you have no idea, it's easy to feel the imposter syndrome. There's a lot of ways I feel imposter syndrome, really. But this isn't about my vulnerabilities. It is about my total dominance of this game. Mildly hacked. And with a very unorthodox and somewhat underpowered party. Although really, Cecil's pretty much Cecil. Porum's pretty close to Rosa. Hallam's pretty close to Rydia. We just have this bizarro thief character replacing the combination of Kain and Edge. That's really the big twist here. And it's a weird twist. Yeah, still not feeling great. I'm gonna have some coughs, I think. Maybe not right now, but I feel the... what do people say? The mucus is moving? It sounds pretty gross when you say it. I guess there's no way to say that in a more nice way. That's why people dance around talking about their ailments, right? You try not to say it. In my house, we talk pretty openly about diarrhea, and we have to. Is that weird? We have to, because I'm still wearing ice armor. Ice armor is pretty old. I wonder if we might be further ahead, actually, wearing Genji armor. On the other hand, this is kind of nice for all those fire attacks we're having. Let's see what happens. Any helmet, I'm leaving the diamond on. Although, maybe I shouldn't leave the diamond on. The diamond is definitely handy against the king, the gold dragons and silver dragons, or whatever they're choosing to be called in this version. Choosing to be called, however they choose to identify. Nobody else is going to make nearly as much of a dent in this enemy as Cecil is, so I'm just going to leave it up to him. And I forget whether these attacks are all counters or not. It looks like it. So we may as well just only attack when we have good attacks, right? Which is what Cecil's doing. Great job. Everybody else back up the MVP here. Yeah, that was nice and fast. That was good. A lot of money. Too bad I don't really have a whole lot to spend it on. I guess I will. I can do a shopping trip after this dungeon. Behemoths. There's 3 scripted behemoth battles along this walkway. And the rest of it's just normal enemy trash. It sounds judgmental, calling them trash. I mean, they're doing their very best. I have some Bacchuses, but I only have 1 Hermes. And some much less useful items. I don't know. Does he counter steel? Oh, well that's questionably useful. Oof. That's a hit. Cecil's only going to make 1 more attack before this guy's done. That is a called shot. I'm not actually counting numbers, it just makes sense to me. Yeah. See how amazing that is? This is why you... This is pinnacle of gaming, right here. Where is the next behemoth? Oh, no, this is normal. Oh, and it's one of them lightning guys. These, in the Japanese release, these enemies were actually called them lightning guys. But it you know, ran into the character limitations, and so they had to be called Silver D's. So yeah, it's been a weird month. All the illness, I've had actual medical tests done. I'm mostly feeling better, and then I got this new thing where I've got the snot and the breathing problems. But we're getting over that. I'm not medicated at the moment, which that's swell. And then the startup and the band thing, it's all been just weird. And it reminds me very much of how life was for me back in 2016, when I started to feel the effects of my celiac disease, because that was adult onset, and it was really, I don't know if you'd say unexpected. It was very much stress onset. I didn't feel like anything was wrong until a bunch of things kind of seemed to go wrong at once, is kind of how it was. How am I going to beat Bahamut? I should have given this some thought. I also need more high potions. Hopefully they sell those at the Naming Way shop. Naming Way shop for all your Naming Way needs. We learned Arise, which is Orom's second last spell. You're half. That was a very confusing line to me when I was young. I thought it said, you're a half. And that confused me. I didn't know what she was saying I was half. I thought it was like an insult. You're half the man you used to be. What are we going to do? We're going to throw it a spider. No, save. Do we have more than one spider web? If we only have one spider web, we're saving it for the evil one. Oh, we have a whole bunch. Okay, we're gonna throw a spiderweb at Thief right away. I don't know if we can win this one, but I guess we'll see. I should have had Cecily Zabacus. In fact, I will have Cecily Zabacus. In fact, I will have this guy use a Bacchus too, because why not? I wonder if that's gonna bite me later. Like, Oh, that's actually fairly good damage. Thief can contribute here, so that's welcome. Ought I be throwing out Reflects? Probably. It's hard to keep Reflect on the whole team. That's good damage, Palin. Well done. So if Porom gets a turn, she'll reflect herself, and if there happens to be a third one squeezed in there, put it on Cecil, because who really cares about that? We might also win. We might beat the timer. Like, it seems like our damage is on point. Do I have a screenshot button? Oh, I do. And look at that. I did it at exactly the right time. Hey, that was spectacular. Cool. Yeah, call up Thief. Thief did not learn Baham. Isn't that delightful? We beat the timer. That never happens to me in vanilla. Am I just not... Maybe I have never played this game in a strategic manner. Like, I'm really thinking through my approach to these battles, but I don't think my party is stronger than usual. We might be a little higher level because there's 4 of us, but one of us is trash, so I don't know. What do we gotta do here? Can we use the Triton Dagger, or do I need to throw out a real spell? Is this gonna do more damage, or... I don't know how split magic works in this game, honestly. No, that's not very potent. Okay, what are we gonna do here? Maybe I will feed you some cast-offs. It sounds really awful when I say it that way, doesn't it? I don't really remember the distinction between Lunar Veil and Light Veil. Like, a lot of those are garbage, but I may as well keep them and throw them out sometime. I can use them against a flan next time I see one. Pudding. Mode 7 at its finest. Actually, not at its finest, but at its pretty good. what's actually the very best implementation of Mode 7? Like, it was very superficial in a lot of games. Very, very superficial. And there's a lot of games where, like, it was a key mechanic, like Pilot Wings and F-Zero, but, and you don't need to hate me for this, those were ugly. And it was pretty ugly in Final Fantasy VI mostly, too, except for the airship. I'm gonna just throw out another Quake, because that has been so wonderful. That's like my only screen clear attack. Isn't it funny how long he's had Quake? Get rid of the actual threatening enemy. Not that threatening, but a little threatening. Because encounters in this game are designed to wear out resources, and they don't always do a great job of that, although it depends on how the player's playing. I think that's admirable. There are other games that don't have the dungeon-based attrition, right? And some of them are pretty good, like... Oh, I can't buy high potions, but I can buy these. Well, there's a lot of things I could just get rid of. Like... I don't know, maybe I should get 2 more stacks of high potions. I could check my potions, they're not doing me a whole lot of good. I got enough access to remedies that I could throw out a few of my minor healing consumables. Let's give that a shot. Get rid of my Maiden's Kisses, my antidotes, my echo herbs, my alarm clicks. Guess my eye drops. They're not irrelevant, but they're a little replaced, right? And if I buy enough remedies, who cares? These aren't really useful. And these aren't really useful. I got more than enough cottages for the rest of the game, that's for sure. So I buy 2 more stacks of X potions. I buy remedies, and now I'm poor. Cool. That was a good decision. That was a perfectly good decision. Am I actually going to be affected by 64 more remedies without white magic compensating for it? Probably not. I should feel good about that. That's what I will tell myself. Okay. This is good. I think that's good. Okay, I'm overthinking this. I'm super duper overthinking this. I don't know why. I guess I'm a little bit scared of this endgame. Thief is not as good as Edge or Kain. And he's trying to compensate for both of them put together, which is just absurd. Are bombs considered flying in this game? Thief did really good damage there, and I'm a little puzzled by it. Maybe Thief is just stronger than I realized, but definitely, like, with one weapon, Thief's strength is lower than Edge's would be at an equivalent point. I think. So, with one weapon especially, he cannot be out-damaging Edge, let alone Kain, who is quite strong. We're gonna do this because I've spent something like 80 MP with Palom on 3 fights. Although we're pretty set for ethers too. Okay, we'll just rest whenever we can, and this will be NBD. Which, for the less informed, in this case at least, stands for No Big Ilio. Ambushed. I don't want to be ambushed. Oh, now I gotta use a remedy. Let's not use a remedy. Oh, Palom's gonna destroy these guys. I didn't realize they had such low HP. Actually just hit attack with Porom. That's an accident. Procreot. I know those are real things, but I do wonder why they're rather strong creatures that live on the moon and poison you. It doesn't jive with my vast biological expertise. Is Bio still fast in Project 2? It's at least fairly fast, what we've learned. Bomb frag, aren't those awful? Aren't those, like, never useful? Bombs are considered, or grenades are considered flying in this game. Okay. We've learned a valuable lesson here today. It makes sense. I am not debating the groundedness of explosives. La 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 la. This is not a great fight. This is, we don't have a whole lot to gain here. I mean, it's experience like anything else, but for the amount of resource consumed, it's a bit of a raw deal, in my opinion. Yeah, it's funny that Porom only has the Holy Spell left to learn, because, first of all, it's 10 levels away, if I remember correctly. But Palom's got so much. Gotta learn, Death, Flare, Meteo, and still Tornado, or Weak. Kind of surprised we haven't got that one yet. I think it's never really as good as it sounds because of how enemy immunities work and whatnot. You don't like it when they use it against you. Final Fantasy almost always has a spell like that. You dread the enemies having it, but... That was awful, Thief. What the hell? I remember that red worm is like super... He has the rather rare double weakness attribute. He's like super duper weak to fire. It's as if the red color is some kind of red herring. Okay, I guess I can use the healing tiles. Really hurt, but... Save the ethers or whatever. Walk past the Uncle Dispenser. There we go. What's this cutscene gonna look like? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I guess I wasn't used to how these cutscenes played out. They used the original party. And then Thief technically does replace Rydia, but he replaces Child Rydia. Old Rydia doesn't change at all. And if I use the shoulder buttons to change my party, I believe I toggle through them correctly now. Yeah. So I can walk around as Thief, and it's actually the FF1 Thief sprite, which is fun. Which one's here? Is this the black robe or whatever it is? No. Maybe. I don't remember. But this isn't too bad. I should use Quake again. Last time I quaked to this enemy group, it was kind of awesome how well it worked. It killed the Dark Sages outright, and it did reasonable damage to those Selines, the Moon Guardians. I think Moon Guardians is what they were normally called, these ones. In at least one of the translations, which I guess must have been the DS version or something. Oh, that was awful. That was way... What happened? That was terrible. I talk up... How... Did Palom get stupider, or is it because of split damage? That didn't make any sense. I did like 5,000 damage then before. Oh well. I'm just thankful they're not casting Toad. I have a lot of appreciation for Thief's injured sprite. The appreciation that I'm expressing, it should be noted, is appreciation for myself, because I did that. I do think a lot of the people involved in these projects, Project 2 and Naming Way Edition, are really cool. And I just messed around on top of those. Okay, we learned Death. Interesting that you learned Death before Tornado. We got a Sage Stick. That's gonna be useful. No, it's not. Oh well. It's unlimited revives, at least. I think. It is funny that Osmos does very little in terms of effectiveness to mages, which are the only targets really, really worth using it on. Although it was really cool what I was doing at the end of Final Fantasy II, Game Boy Final Fantasy II, like Final Fantasy II, actual Final Fantasy II, but remake. The actual second Final Fantasy game, where I kept using Osmos on bosses, so they just couldn't do anything, and that, with my crazy evasion, just wrecked all the late game bosses with that. That game, no matter how many times they seem to want to fix it, sure has a way of feeling broken. The best defense, something something. There are fire attacks coming at us, and I notice Cecil's not really taking damage from it. Like, Emission is a very weak fire attack. In fact, it's kind of weird how weak it is. But I had some consideration for leaving the ice armor on him, and I guess at this point in the game it just doesn't really make sense. Yeah, like, he's taken 15 damage from that. Thief has taken damage, which is almost curious. Thief actually has something of an intelligence stat. It's not useful for very much, except every so often giving him a slight magic defense multiplier. But, like, I'm sure its effect is very minor. But, regardless, I would expect Thief to take less magical damage than Cecil. But, second-guessing myself again now. Cecil has better magic defense on his equipment. Okay, so let's just go with... I don't remember or understand anything. This boss loves slow. I don't know if this is actually a blade. I changed some of these late game things to be things from the advanced version, right? Because, I mean, we don't need Masamune, because it doesn't fit with our character archetypes at all. Ugh. It doesn't even make sense to fix that. Like, casting haste enough times to fix that is gonna suck. It might make some sense, I don't know. Does this guy have innate reflect? I seem to remember this. Is there innate reflect? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. At least Cecil's crazy strong. Okay, so not innate oh, dear. Oh, that's arguably worse. Oh, that's awful. Well, this is, I think, the kind of fight you might use the exit spell after. And then go up to the healing tiles and come back in, because it's just quicker. Walk through the whole Crystal Palace again. This is going to be over soon with Cecil's just strength, I think. I mean, we do have 16 bite HP values, right? When he's doing that much damage, how many bosses can take more than 10 attacks? Maybe he's not as strong as I think he is. This is going to be fine. Received Mirazame. Actually? Ah, see this? Rising Sun. Assuming I didn't screw anything up, this is going to be marvelous. Look at that attack difference. I think it might be from the advanced version, which is a little borked. Anyway, I think it's going to make Thief pretty relevant for a while. Oh yeah, let's use the exit spell. That was nasty. We want to get our MP back. So, there is, I think, some kind of reasonable argument any God-fearing Final Fantasy IV fan could make about including some of the endgame gear from Final Fantasy IV Advance, especially considering some of it is post-game gear. Thief sure walks funny. But, I don't know. It was balanced for this game. And I already have a, in many ways, suboptimal party, so I should probably, when I do these Thief, White Mage, Knight, Black Mage playthroughs, I should endeavor to modify the game as little as possible. But you know what? I didn't want to. I still want it to be fun. And I don't think it breaks the game. I mean, Thief's attack power, you may have noticed, is 1-0 whatever. It's still considerably less than Edge. I think that's Thief's literal strongest possible weapon. It's possible there's like one more dagger or something of that sort, but I did this a long time ago, so I don't remember. Okay, I did the left path last time, so let's take the right path. And the bottom path, if I recall correctly, which who knows, I believe is the way to kind of actually proceed. I didn't look at Thief's damage there. Was it good? Did the boomerang look cool? Oh, that was terrible, Palom. $742. Pretty unexciting. Yeah, it's pretty unexciting. I wonder if maybe I didn't set it for back row or something. But seeing as it's his strongest weapon, I don't know whether to care. And it's his strongest weapon, but at least right now. Again, I don't remember if there's maybe some amazing dagger from later. Like, I don't know. There were strong daggers in Final Fantasy IV Advance. I didn't include the crazy busted assassin dagger because I included the actual Final Fantasy IV assassin dagger. So, I think Triton Dagger might be the strongest dagger, which we have. You know what's funny? The Triton Dagger. It introduced all these sets of optional equipment. Well, not optional. Equipment for the characters that were new. Like the advanced. Allow me to figure out the phrasing of my sentence before I start speaking it. The Final Fantasy. Finest Fantasy for Advance, the Final Fantasy Advance titles were, in many ways, pretty neat. In that Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6, and even 1 and 2 added fairly substantive bonus content. Whether it was high quality or not is questionable. Whether it was substantive or not, I think everyone could agree, yeah, that there was some more stuff to do. But it was all incredibly optional. And the way they embedded it in the game while also making it optional, it was clear care was taken with that. It was clear that was part of the mission statement. The 4 optional elemental dungeons that were randomized in Final Fantasy 1, the Final Fantasy 2 post-game, the additional characters that you could play as, Lunar Ruins and all that in Final Fantasy 4, whatever the heck the Final Fantasy 5 thing was called, it was so separate. And in that way, and they kept it so separate and so intentionally so that it didn't... No one can claim it wrecked the original game. However, for the people who went out of their way to access those things, it would change the game. Because they wanted it to, right? And you could think of it as freshening up the existing game, or you could think of it as post-game. In all of those cases, you could think of it as post-game. Most of the parts where the advanced content was added was at the end already. The Final Fantasy 1 post-game stuff, like that was actually... There were some serious super bosses there. Unfortunately, the combat in Final Fantasy 1 is so limited that it didn't really bring anything super new to the table. But they were hard, and it was kind of cool fighting things that were that hard. I'm thinking in particular of Omega and Shinryu. Final Fantasy 6 ones were pretty bad too. It was cool. So the Final Fantasy 4 stuff, they added in the extra characters, but what was funny was, you know, Final Fantasy has a bit of a library of notable weapons and armor suitable for different character archetypes. And, you know, if you ask some person who's been immersed in classic Final Fantasy games for a long time, and you said, what's the strongest dagger in any Final Fantasy game? They would say things like, I don't know, a cat claw, maybe, if they're really old school, an orichalcum type thing, the Valiant knife, Gladius, depending on if it's been classified as a different piece of equipment, because technically a Gladius is a sword. And Assassin's Dagger would probably be discussed. I mean, in Final Fantasy V, it was one of the 12 legendary weapons. And that's not counting the ones that are more ninja-y, like Sasuke type thing. But they came up with such weird ultimate weapons for all those characters. Like instead of using some... the hammer is a funny example, because I'm like, Flare Sledgehammer is Cid's optional ultimate weapon. And it's like, it's a weird optional ultimate weapon. But then again, there aren't a lot of famous hammers in the Final Fantasy series. They had Thor's hammer in Final Fantasy 1. Boy, these guys are not particularly strong on the offense, are they? And neither am I. That battle took ages. Harps. There are not that many harps in the Final Fantasy game. There are some. Actually, you know, when you think about tactics, when you think about 3DS, although that's Final Fantasy 3DS is a different story, but there actually are some interesting harps in the Final Fantasy series. There's a Lamia harp, which I guess there always was. This is going to be a serious upgrade. Oh yeah, look at that. Looks like defense is back on the menu. And it's got an agility buff too. I don't know if it's a big agility buff. And I don't know how much it matters, because Thief's already so fast. But... no, not that. The armor they came up with was weird, and some of it has leaked into other games since, but not much. They came up with Funny Mask as like Yang's ultimate helmet. Funny Mask? Like, I'm literally thinking of like, I don't know, Groucho glasses is kind of what I think of when I think of Funny Mask. And that's Yang's ultimate head equipment. Vishnu Vest was Edward's. I don't know if it was his Lunar Ruins equipment or his other thing. But Vishnu Vest, that came out of nowhere. Sounded weird. I think it has existed in other Final Fantasy games since, though. The Red Jacket became Edward's. Red Jacket is a reasonable piece of high-level clothing armor that has existed in several Final Fantasy games. Some of them were just so weird. Yang had cool new claws added. They were, there was like a God Hand or Hand of the Gods thing. Dragon Claw, Tiger Claw, something like that. Anyway, but then, yeah, besides the stuff that you could earn for the specific characters that you're now able to play with, which included the Triton Dagger, which was originally an upgrade for Callum, which is fine, that's how I'm using it. There were some things that were just, like, for some reason purchasable in, like, a randomly located endgame shop. It was a little bit strange, actually. And they were just, some of them were so game-breaking. I mean, at a certain point, the post-game content of Final Fantasy IV Advance is just super broken, because it was possible to farm these things called hero shields, that are basically the Paladin shield from Final Fantasy VI, which was already a game-breaking piece of equipment in a game with no balance. And the hero shield is crazy. Like I think it absorbed, or it immuned all elements, but if you had a curse ring, it absorbed all elements. And it was incredibly defensive, and any character could use it. Like, you could put it on Rydia, unrestricted. And that was just crazy. So yeah, at a certain point the balance was lost, but again, it was pretty well optional. This is interesting, actually, because Cecil can actually use all of the Dragoon equipment that would normally go on Kain. Is that worth it? The next one's going to be worth it. What's going to end up being better for him, Crystal or Dragon? You might be happy to have Dragon equipment in this fight. Yeah, the enemy type bonuses are interesting in this game too. You don't think about them too much, or casuals don't. I don't know. But the enemy type bonuses actually apply to attack. Like dragons can't damage you as effectively if you're wearing dragon gear, which is cool. And I don't know of another Final Fantasy game where defensive type differences exist. I don't think it works. Like, I know Final Fantasy 1 pretty well. I'm pretty sure that's not in Final Fantasy 1, which has... enemy types are very represented in that game. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I didn't mean to cast Firaga on the Dark Sage. That was a mistake, kind of a misclick. That might seem like a strange thing to sing about, but here we are. So yeah, I included some of the advanced equipment, but I was pretty intentional about avoiding most of the game-breaking stuff. That said, the Rising Sun is statistically quite powerful. Like, it's strange, because if you think about daggers and throwing weapons in Final Fantasy IV, base game, there's 3 daggers in the whole game that are equipable. The Silver Knife, the Mage Masher, and the... Silver Knife, Mage Masher, and Dancing Dagger. And, their attack power is, like, super limited. It's, like, 10 points difference between them in total. And then throwing weapons, there's a Boomerang, which is about the same power as the Dancing Dagger. And then the Full Moon, which is quite a bit more powerful, but still pretty darn mid-game. You're not generally taking a Full Moon into this dungeon, but here I was taking it in. So there was no real way to have Thief feeling ready for this endgame dungeon without some equipment modifications. That said, I could have just ate up the fact that Thief was going to suck forever, and Thief does suck. Don't get me wrong, Thief super duper sucks. But, you know, there is some degree of utility. And with a little bit of an attack buff, it's less just annoying. It's less like... I'm trying to say the name of a useless character, and I kind of think of Edward, but I don't even think Edward is that useless. I mean, when you play Final Fantasy IV Advance, and you bring Edward to endgame with his fairly good new equipment, and his very, very high agility rating, he's actually pretty potent. We all know bards are quite good in Final Fantasy V. I think they're easy to underestimate, but they're good. Ah, yes, there's the hidden passage I was looking for. I forgot where it was. I don't think I took anything from Final Fantasy DS, and it might be that the Rising Sun I took was actually from After Years instead of Final Fantasy IV Advance, because the advanced equipment, as I was saying, was more broken. It was very post-gamey, it felt more like add-on content. There is no reason to keep this dragon helmet anymore. Or this diamond helmet. Dragon helmet's so much better, provides 3 elemental resistances. We're happy to have it. We're never going to use this. We're never going to use a lot of this stuff. This Flame Whip is useless to us. Diamond Helmet's useless to us. Enpogi is useless to us. Can't imagine I'm going to use the Aura Staff for Full Moon, but whatever. At some point, the destruction has to end, right? We sure didn't use this Genji equipment for very long. Okay. That's nice. That's nice for now. It's not going to be on for super long. But I mean, it's lightning resistance in a place with a lot of lightning. The fire resistance may even come in handy. Cecil seems to have gotten faster, which I do not understand. Did he level or something? Why is he faster than Porom all of a sudden? The Dragoon equipment doesn't give a speed bonus, does it? I'm pretty excited to get Ragnarok so we can start one-shotting these guys. And the reason that exists, by the way, the Excalibur, I think, is Holy Elemental. But the Excalibur is also anti-undead. I think. I wonder if, instead of Cecil getting faster, Helm and Porum got slower. Oh, I might want to have a peek at their stats. I haven't for a while. Agility 66. Agility 27. Agility 34. Holy Kroll. Holy Kroll. What am I even trying to say? Is it the Dragoon equipment? Does it have a speed bonus? Must be a pretty big one if it does. It was 34, right? No, that didn't change anything. Okay. I almost wonder what we were seeing there. I know that this game has a funny behavior with regards to the what's it called? That thing where the person and the character... Oh, the anchor. The agility anchor. And that's not something I fully understand, but it's something like it looks for Paladin Cecil if he is there first, Dark Knight Cecil if he's there second, and if neither of them are there, it uses the middle character. And it, like, compares that character to 40 agility and makes kind of a ratio, and everyone's speed is scaled according to that. And for some reason that number 40 is coming to mind. I may have made that up. But sometimes that agility anchor and scaling behavior makes it weird. And that's because, you know, you don't want the battle speed to suddenly become hard to follow at endgame and be awful at beginning of the game. So, like, I think as a game design principle, it was a very good idea. I'm not sure its implementation was the best ever. The mission is now doing 1 to everybody. I mean, Thief gained pretty substantial magic defense when he put the black garb on. Oh. God. I mean, there's some variance in this game, but that seemed like pretty big variance. Palom learned Tornado. 2 spells to go. Well, 2 spells to go for Palom. Sure. I'm approving the spell sorting is what was happening there. Should I explain my slight OCD about this? I like the fire, blizzard, and thunder in rows or columns. And sometimes I do one, sometimes I do the other. But for some reason, I never put my most frequently used spells at the top. I keep the crap at the top. It's a great idea. And then I put the biological harm, the poison bio death trio under that, under fire. Because fire also causes biological harm. I put sleep, stop, and break under blizzard because they all involve stopping the enemy, and so would freezing them. And then the magic-y things that drain stuff go under thunder because being struck by lightning is bad. I've come to understand it. My neighbor was struck by lightning. Anyway. Osmos, Drain, and Tornado are also a continuum, so they go under the thunder spells. It makes total sense in my world. And then the next row under that, before the utility spells, which are there at the bottom, is just where the powerful stuff goes. And that's Quake, Flare, and Meteor. there's super duper a method to the madness, whether it seems like it or not. What kind of damage does Palom do with actual attacks nowadays? Not very much. Vessel says, I can do better than that. I can do approximately 20 times as much damage. La, 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 la. I've had my fill of you giants. Here's usually where you run into trickers. Trickers are fun. I think it is fun to trigger a tricker in general. I don't think they ever actually tricked me, but I know I've seen them do their thing, so it must be me setting it off on purpose. I mean, when I was a kid. First time I played this game, I was 10? I think I would have been 10. 10-ish. Very close to 10. 10 plus or minus 1 year. And that would have been very shortly after this game came out, I think. And so I think as a 10-year-old, I would just... It's funny the way kids get to know a game, given time and curiosity and interest. Like, 2 of my sons have been playing Pikmin games, in particular Pikmin 4, which came out quite recently. And they've gotten, like, really good at it. And watching them play, it's just like, wow, what a knack they have for some of the more complicated puzzles and movements involved in playing Pikmin. And then, of course, my oldest son, who does the YouTube thing, who I've cited before, WildStar Gaming, with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And just the amount of time he'll spend trying to do some weird thing in some weird way, and then sometimes it goes haywire, and he does a little capture of it, and I end up with these really bizarre videos of, you know, horses climbing up walls, and whatever other strange things happen in that game, because he's got patience, interest, and a relatively low number of responsibilities. And that's really all it takes to get to know something pretty darn deeply. I have become quite bad at traditional platforming. When I play Mario Maker, it looks like someone who's bad at Mario Maker playing Mario Maker. And I tried to play just hard, not even super expert, just expert levels today, and I beat... it took me... I beat 1 within the 15 lives they give you in Mario Maker 2. And I beat a couple others. But it took a few extra lives. Like, I used to be pretty good at those things, and it does not feel that way anymore. Sometimes I blame the technology. And I know that's maybe a bit of a lame thing to do, but modern systems that are using HDMI, and we usually play our games on a projector, they do introduce a fairly big lag time. Like, your response time can't be what it used to be. But I think about when I was a kid and I was fairly good at action platforming type stuff, although this was always my preferred type of game. You know, you really become pretty intimate with Mario's speeds and reaction times and momentums, especially in action platformers. You get used to momentums. And it's funny because you don't have to in Mega Man, but certain action platformers like Mario and Sonic are like they're entirely about the momentum. That's a debatable statement, but I don't think you should debate me on it. They're entirely about momentum. Okay, That Stardust Rod has a better spell, but it does make him weaker. The question is, does it make him stupider? Wisdom 95, Will 27. Wisdom 99, Will 27. I have no idea whether 4 points of Wisdom means anything, but I feel like we may as well leave him with the Stardust Rod. Wait, he's still using a rune ring. That seems so bad. I know it isn't. I've been thinking about Mario Maker a lot, and you know what? I don't think I'm that bad at it, but there are levels that I know my kids can beat that I now can't beat. For a long time, it always felt like when I came to play the games with them, it was like, don't worry, Daddy's here. He's a legend. He's going to be great. And now I don't beat them super reliably, you know? And I don't take issue with that. It could just be these old bones type thing. Not that old. I do partly think it's the technology, and they've adapted to it better than I have. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm sure part of it is practice, and recent practice, for that matter. And we've been playing Mario Maker lately because we've had a project together. Me and all of my kids. I have 3. Famed Super Mario Maker streamer DGR has played on like on stream, but they go to his YouTube channel. These worlds that are entirely 1-1 with variations, and it's funny because like that was my favorite thing to make in Mario Maker 2 when it was new, and I made a super world, but like half of it was stupid versions of 1-1, and I thought I was all original, but it turns out that's like the least original thing. For some reason, that didn't occur to me that it was super unoriginal, but people have taken this to a whole new extent, and they make as many different dumb, mostly, or not dumb, creative. Many of them are not dumb. There are dumb ones, but many of them are not dumb. Different versions of level 1-1 from Super Mario Bros. And they make it in Mario Maker. And so I had some of those. But I didn't realize DGR started playing these levels that were all different versions of 1-1. Then it was like a super world of 40 different versions of 1-1. Different themes, interpretations, gimmicks, difficulty levels. And it was very fun to watch. And then he played a different one, and then someone made a world that was all 1-2. And then my kids and I, we loved watching these. And I said, don't you think it would be funny? And my kids are familiar with Mario Bros, but mostly because of Super Mario 35, which I loved, and doesn't functionally exist anymore. My kids mostly know Super Mario Bros. Levels from Mario 35. I said, wouldn't it be funny to do this, but take the most plain, boring, maybe crappy level from the original Super Mario Bros. And make 40 different versions of it? And I think, once again, I thought I was being completely original, but I wasn't. I was being super unoriginal without realizing it. I don't know if my stream just lagged, but I was saying I thought it was really original to say, let's make a bunch of variations of some other Mario Maker level and make an entire super world out of them. It turns out that's fairly common too, because I just saw it happened for the project I'm starting to describe. I haven't actually got to what it is yet. I joined DGR's Discord server, and I see there someone's like, look, I made 40 different versions of 5-3. Or was it 5-2? It was a very ordinary level, and so I admire that person's project, is what I'll say. Anyway, what we chose, what came to mind for me and my kids ended up agreeing with, was the level with the bridges and the fish, which is 2-3. And using my account on the Switch so that they'd all be in one place. My kids and I brainstormed ideas, we wrote them on paper, we made template versions of the level. And we did it over about a month. We planned and then built all the different versions of 2-3. About half of them are really good, and about half of them are okay. They ended up pretty good, I think. I think it's fun. So it's called Fresh 2-3 World, if you were to look it up. I don't have a useful means to link it if anyone were watching this. But it's 40 different versions of the level with the bridges and the fish. The Cheep Cheeps. And yeah, I think it's funny. Do you think these guys are flying? Do you think they absorb Quake? Or ignore Quake? Maybe I'll whip out a bio. I need to get to a save point. I have to wrap up this stream in about 15 minutes. Maybe I'll just flee from the remainder of the battles until I get to a save point. So yeah, we made 40 versions of 2-3. Worked on them collaboratively. Different kids contributed different ones. I did probably half of them myself. Some of them are really good. And if we can somehow get DGR's attention, we would love very much for him to play them. That would make our collective days. Yeah, we watch DGR videos pretty often. It's weird because, like, how exciting can the same Mario Maker stuff be after all these years? A game that Nintendo rather neglects. But I find it very fun to watch. It's especially the people with the good personalities. Like, our favorites are mostly Ryukar, DGR. We do watch Lil Curbs and Shoujo sometimes. Shoujo's pretty cool, but she doesn't generally put things on YouTube all the time. So, do I want the Crystal Shield? Probably. Technically, magic defense still goes down, but I think we're just going to be okay with that. Ooh. I think naturally you want to put that on your white mage first. I didn't see the stat difference. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's big. It has elemental protections too. It's enormous. Is there nothing down here? Oh. Okay. We can't run from this. Nor do I want to, it turns out. Remember when Sissel kicked the crap out of Rubicon? Rubicante? That was awesome. Crystal armor. Yeah, if I do all the treasure chests, I'm never gonna finish in the time frame that I would like to finish. wasn't gonna get it anyway. Oh man, well, these guys aren't that bad. You know, unlike the blue dragons, at least they've got a gigantic glaring elemental weakness that I can exploit. Crystal Glove. I'm going to go ahead and not equip that due to resistances. And as much as I do want to fight these dragons, because I'd like to get some rare drops, I wouldn't mind a crystal ring or whatever they want to give me. I'm going to go ahead and flee. Where is the save point anyway? Fate Robe. This is going to be good too. The Sorcerer Robe was from Baymarch quite a while ago. Yeah. I don't think Sorcerer Robe had any particular... Oh, too bad. I would like to beat that guy. We'll be back. We'll be back. Ugh, I don't want to pass chests. What kind of idiot passes chests? Oh, this is an easy one, too. Crystal helmet. Okay. I don't know for sure, but I think the shield is usually the weakest link. Shield or glove? Like, should I leave the dragon shield on? Maybe I should. Or is it going to matter at all? No, they're functionally the same. Whatever, let's do that. Okay, cool, great. We're great. Everything's great. I would kind of like to fight this guy too, but we just won't. It's funny, because I could use the experience, I think. I'm going to go ahead and not get the chests here. I'm going to just beeline the save point and come back to this. Because we know we're coming back through that room anyway. I'll get this one, because it's here. It's all alone. The other room is full of chests that you have to pass. So. Oh, who knew it was going to have monsters? What an unfair world. Let's use our amazingly powerful and effective Quake spell. That surely won't suck. Is it gonna suck? It did! I swear I saw it do something useful earlier. Did it not? Am I imagining it? Oh, we got to see Embrace too. That's such a fun move. Oh no, now his experience is going to be even more skewed. We got Minerva. That may have downsides, and I only have one party member who can equip it, which is somewhat interesting. Somewhat. Not interesting. We're just about at the save point. And then we'll just feel really great about everything. Yeah, I don't remember all the resistances of the crystal gear. I think I might want to keep a piece of dragon gear on unless I end up picking up a lucky ring or something. Because fire, ice, and lightning resistance is sweet. The crystal stuff, I think, might have all different, like, status protections. Might have to give that a look so that I don't do anything stupid. Look at his little hand. Okay. That was pretty good. We're pretty close to the end, but we have things to do. There's a lot of little treasure mini-bosses nearby, and so actually the start of the next little sesh might be kind of exciting, maybe. But for now, as I said earlier, I have to be done. So I will be done. If you're a Mario Maker 2 person, go check out my 2-3 world. Somehow. I guess if you went to, like, Maker Central, you could probably look it up. Maybe I should find a way to share the code. I don't know. I don't really have the social media anymore. Like, I did, and then everything went haywire, so I don't really do that. So I don't have any way to tell anyone about anything anymore. I have my blog, but I haven't been updating it, because of the same reasons that stopped me from streaming. So, well, whatever. For now, bye.